Welcome to Jackall Digital. I'm Simon, and today I'm tilted. No, not really, but I will show you how to make a tilted watch face for the Mi Band 4. While it may not be the best or the fastest way, I think it's the simplest way. Start off by making a simple watch face design, but don't make it perfect because you will be changing it. As you see, I've made this as my first font, but it had too much spacing between and the angle was just too big. This would be approximately my size to get all the numbers in. Well, I would have to make 5 numbers, so probably something like this. And at 150 pixels, that is just too much. So what I did was change the angle and put the numbers together. So from my experience, use a font that doesn't have too much spacing between the digits and have at most 30-degree angle, because this at 60 just wasn't feasible. I have split this method into two parts. One is for the time display and the second is to display digits for the activities and the date. So if we jump into the time display, the first thing that you need to do now is, after you complete the design, type out the numbers 0 to 9, give them a background. In my case, digit number 7 was the widest, so I use that as a template and put this background behind all the digits. And after that, I angled it at 30 degrees. If you select an element, you will see what the width and height should be. Just make the numbers whole and make them bigger than this. Otherwise, you may cut the element off. So in this case, I have 50 width and 59 pixels for height. Then you make red bullets of this size. I use two colors. You can use just one. So make 10 red bullets. Put all the numbers in together with the background so you can line them up easily. If you use Illustrator, you use horizontal and vertical alignment. Just make sure it's selected to artboard and then remove the background, like so. And once you have the numbers inside, I used the number 7 as it was my biggest digit to position it in my design template. So what I did is I overlaid my design and then made a rectangle, lined it up to the top left of my design with the top left element that I've overlaid. This element should have a whole number as well, so 6 pixels and 27 pixels. If it doesn't have a whole number, make sure you position it so. And the second digit, this is already done, but I'll just zoom in so you can see it is a little bit off, but this little bit won't be visible. If it's off by half a pixel, that you have half a pixel down or up, that will be visible. So just make sure that it's lined up something like this, but closely to the same position that it was when it comes to the height. So what you get with this is the X and Y position. If your element is to the left of the design, then the X position is negative. So this was pretty standard when it comes to the time, just tilted numbers look a little bit different. And now we have the date/activity numbers. They are the same when it comes to the first 3 steps, but we get a change in the 4th and 5th step. So for the 4th step, you just take the biggest digit that you have. That is my opinion anyway. Now I took the biggest digit that I had in my design, and I also used biggest digit for the activity numbers and as well as date to line it up. And what we'll be making is this. What this is basically the artboard or the whole image containing 5 digits. Why does it contain 5 digits? Well, we need 5 digits to display the steps and maybe even the distance. If we only wanted to display date, we could use just 2 digits, the right side, or 3 digits. If we also wanted to display battery power along with the date, because the battery power has 100 when it's full. So first overlay the digits. We first overlay them. This should be overlaid as well. Then you take a rectangle. I'll just take this one. This rectangle should have the height that will contain all of the digits, and it should be a whole number, obviously. So this is my approximation. Okay, 48 pixels is enough. What you want to do now is line this up to the left side and this to the first digit that will be displayed, which is the left one. So line it up to the right side of the digit and check what the width is. We want this to be a whole number as well, so if we change it, we have to line it up again. Select the number and move it over to the right side. Then we will do similarly to the second digit. Move this rectangle to the right side and this side to the left side of the digit. Check what the size is, so it should be 88 to be a full number. Position it again. Now we'll select this rectangle, the digit, and this rectangle and this digit. Position it over. And now what we want to do is get the distance between this digit and this digit. Now this won't be perfect as I didn't copy the background as well, which should be copied. So we line up the left side and right side to as close as possible as you can. And again, you copy this over, line it up with the right side, and at the left side we'll put a digit. I can now delete this rectangle, move this one over because it will be our final one, and make it bigger. And now I just want to copy this digit over. It's not perfect, so maybe I would have to use the background as well. Maybe like this, copy this one over. I'm just speeding it up so you get the idea how it's done. And maybe this is like the final size that we end up with. I'll just group everything up. And then you can now do the artboards with this, as I had it up here, because I have the 7 digit now saved with its position. I could just put it here where the 7 would be and remove the background. Otherwise I would remove the digit number 7 and you keep the background of the digit. Now I'll show you why. So I would remove the digits but keep the background. Why I do this is because you can now position it to the artboard and just copy the elements and line them up with the background, and then just delete the background itself. Make sure you have 11 artboards if you want to display the distance as well, because the distance needs a dot. Okay, and now that we have those digits, we need to line them up over our design. So line them up however you want. This one is now perfect because it already lined up, but if it didn't, let's say my design was over here, I would have to make sure that the width and height are whole numbers. In this case, I would maybe use 407 pixels. So it would be like this. I would then move my design over. If that was the case, and position it so it was just perfect. Maybe something like so. Let's get rid of that. And then I would just copy this bar, this artboard, and position it over the element as best as I could. And now what we would want to do, so before we do that, this element, this rectangle that we did when we positioned the first element, so this rectangle, what represents is the X and Y position when we fill in the JSON file. So let's say in this case, because I shifted over, it would be minus 407 for the X position and 103 pixels for the Y position. Why is it negative? Because this is the start of the coordinate system, and plus goes to the right side and minus to the left side. And minus also goes to the top if you use the Y axis. And now what we will get is the spacing, which also uses a negative number because we shift elements over from left to right. That is why we did this overlay, and we only need to do this once. We don't need to repeat it 5 times because all of the numbers will use the same shift. And we do this by selecting the start of the second element and the ending of the first element. And as you can see, it's almost 339 pixels. This, of course, the more precise that you make, the closer it will be to the whole number. And this is your spacing now. So you use this minus 339, and depending on how many numbers like this you did, if you did separate for the date, you will have to repeat this step, and you will obviously get a different spacing. But in case of the activities, all of them use the same spacing. And just so you see how it looks, it's not the best. But I guess the point anyway of a tilted watch face is that you use it from a distance, so you don't have to look at it up close. Because one downside of this is you have to pack it with the palette image mode. And with the palette image mode, of course, the quality of the images is lower. But if you spend enough time with this, you can make the images more pixelated, so they will look as clean as a typical watch face that uses just straight numbers. And that's it for this video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon so you don't miss my next video. And until next time, Jackalls, keep it digital.